Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network and another episode of NFL Betting Card Live. I can't believe this is the week 15. And of course, every Thursday at 3 and a little late today. Sorry. Thank you guys for your patience. I am joined by Astaire and Tyler Hicks, and we are going to pick our best and favorite bets on the NFL betting card. These guys have been crushing it. Another great week last week. And we're going to go through spreads and totals and props and anytime touchdowns and all that fun stuff. And then we have a super gross Thursday night football game that we can talk about. And
what? See, a debate already came up already.
Yeah. Spread, everybody's out. I'm very upset. I'm very angry about it for best
you
ball.
Need to start to learn to appreciate fundamental tackling, solid coverages, and confusing quarterbacks, because that's what we're going to see tonight.
That's what we're going to see tonight. Spread, how does that help my best ball shares? That's what I need to know.
Not everything is about fantasy, Meg.
Now
there's real life out there too.
Clyde, good to see you. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Appreciate it. Anyway, so I'll go to you first. Spread, how are you doing? It's your team tonight. You got your Raiders shirt on. Josh Jacobs, I think, has he been rolled out yet? Because he's
So do you remember, Meg? Going back to, you just put out a best ball video, right? And get all your great calls, right? You're Sam Laporta. Fortunately, I wasn't featured in there because remember, one of the guys that I was taking on his stand was Zamir White. And I was laughing with my buddy this morning. I said, what if that ends up being a good pick? Because he could ball out in the playoffs now.
It could be the thing you need. Do any of your advancing teams have Zamir?
Most of them do. Because I was picking him with the very last pick. Right?
Oh,
it wasn't like I was using a lot of draft capital to get him.
Oh my God. Wow. That could be crazy, Spread. That could just, you never know, push you right there.
So overall, usually I choose an NBA game to DVR every night. And then that's the one game I chose. I think I told you that was a change in my process. Is I'm not watching live and living and dying with every basket and bad foul call. I'm watching when I already know the results. And I was trying to decide tonight, I was making fun of you earlier, but I even was like, should I choose an NBA game tonight or watch the Raiders when I get home? it is that bad out here with a total of 34.5. But other than that, I'm excited. The grind of the two sports is starting to get to me a little bit.
Yeah.
As we've been going two sports heavy for now, it's been about 2 months.
Yeah.
And today I was really kind of feeling jumbled, bouncing back.
Because the NBA slate is what tonight? How many games?
We have a 7-game slate tonight.
Yeah,
and basically, it's just in full swing right now. This is where there's a lot of great opportunities, I think, in NBA. But this is a football show, and we're here to focus on the football, and hopefully we'll be focusing on the Raiders. They actually have a chance to get a blowout win tonight, Meg. I mean, we could actually
blowout winner. You're calling it.
I'm not calling it. I'm just saying this isn't actually.
You're saying there's a chance. Yeah. You're saying there's a chance.
This could be really bad with the Chargers team. And we'll get into it a little later. But I think one of the number one questions for this game is, have the Chargers quit on their coach?
Oh, I think that is definitely a possibility. Tyler, before I go to you, let me say hi to Andrew in the chat. He's a fellow Washington fan like me. He says best ball is all I live for right now. These next 3 weeks, Andrew, we are in lockstep. And yes, can Hal lead us to the promised land? Your lips to God's ears, Andrew. I tell you what, because losing Herbert, a lot of those Herbert teams have Hal on it. So please let Hal drop back 50 times and rack up 300 plus yards the next few weeks. Anyway, so I'm right there with you, Andrew. Now let me go to my guy, Tyler. Tyler, speaking of best ball, let's give a victory lap to this guy. I forget how many bullets you had, but way not max entering, a few bullets in the BBM for the big tournament on Underdog. Tyler is in the top 10,000 and gets money before the playoffs even start. So that is huge, Tyler. Again, I have to give you a big congrats to that, because that's quite an achievement. I mean, there's guys that have 150 entries that don't get that. So that is you deserve a massive victory lap on that.
Well, appreciate that, Meg. Glad I was able to get there. I think it was Jalen Hurts and it was a Lamar Jackson and Jalen.
I was going to ask who were the quarterback. I was just going to ask who the quarterbacks were in that team.
Actually, let me just pull up the team.
Let's pull that bad boy up. That's where it's big. I mean, this is an NFL show. And this is best ball playoffs officially kick off tonight. So I know people on Twitter complain there's too much best ball talk. Guess what? I don't care, because
while he looks that up, Meg, on DraftKings, we'll actually be able to see who's in my pod after the game kicks off tonight, or does it wait till Saturday?
DraftKings is so weird. Underdog, I can see. Yeah, underdog, you
I'm
can
playing
like
against.
literally see what your competition has. DraftKings,
Yeah.
I cannot figure. If Steve's in the chat, let us know. He knows better about that on DraftKings.
I'm hoping that we can see him after they kick off tonight, but I hope they don't
Yeah.
wait all the way until next Monday before you see the full
No, I
teams.
would think so. I would think you'd be able to see it tonight. Yeah, Steve, if you're in the chat, let us know. I'm way more invested in underdog than DraftKings, full disclosure.
So it's funny, Meg. My advance rate was so much lower on underdog.
Yeah.
But I think my teams are way better on underdog.
Yeah, well, that's all that matters. I mean, honestly, you could have more entries, but if some of them are like dead teams because of injuries or just not built to win, so yeah, there's certain teams I feel better about. Unfortunately, some of those teams I feel better about have Keenan Allen on it. So I'm very much licking my wounds right now. But let's talk positive here. Tyler, read us your team that made the top 10,000. Again, how many shots did you have in BBM again? Because this is a massive, I
had 24 and I got 4 through.
24, 4 through to the playoffs, but 1 in the top 10,000. That is huge. Again, there are people that enter 150 that don't do that. So that is huge, 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 and a major congratulations. So let's hear the lineup.
Yeah, we took 2 quarterbacks, but we got 2 of the highest MVP odds on the team. We got Lamar and Dak, so I feel comfortable there. The running backs are shaky, though. Gibbs, Madison, James Cook, A-Chain, Gainwell, Zamir White. So
you have Zamir White?
Yeah,
no way. No way. Oh, my God.
I think we did that draft together, Tyler, because I think I criticized you for taking those 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Shut up. Are you serious?
I really did. I was like, you're using too much draft capital on quarterback,
I think my excuse was I never have to worry about that position not giving me like 15 to 20 points every week.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, Gabe Davis, Brandon Cooks, Rashee Rice, DPJ, Richie James, Josh Palmer. Tight ends, Laporta and Ferguson.
Oh, Laporta and Ferguson. Oh my God, I love that you got the Detroit Dallas week 17, and that you had the receivers and the tight ends from Detroit Dallas. If this thing makes the finals and that game goes off,
Meg, I have a question though. As we look over just everyone targeting Detroit Dallas is the top 5 defense. Why were we targeting that game again?
Well, I think indoors, 2 top offenses. Literally 2 of the top offenses going into the season. And we knew Dallas was going to be a tough defense. But the thing is that in defensive matchups and stuff like that, you never know where the defense, the personnel, obviously there's a lot of offensive personnel out this week and, potentially playoffs. You never know what the personnel is going to be at the end of the season. So I didn't overweight matchups in the beginning of the season because you don't know what the team's going to be by the end of the season, but you do know obviously where it's going to be indoors. And, theoretically, if the offenses as a whole stayed healthy, I think that's why that was a big one. To answer your question, I mean, again, we could be wrong. But Steve says, both Seattle and 49ers put up points against Dallas. So hopefully some other teams that we stacked with Dallas can. Bills, we'll talk about Bills this week. That's obviously Bills, Dallas this week. So yeah, Steve, let us know about the DraftKings things. Spread asked about being able to see your competition. But anyways, again, I know this isn't a best ball show. It's a betting card show. So if you bared with us, thank you for bearing with us with best ball talk. But this is exciting. Best ball playoffs kick off tonight for the quarterfinals. But let's get into it. Again, we're talking the week 15 slate of the betting card. And we're going to start with spreads, of course. So spread, have we done any X marks the spot yet? And if so, what is your favorite spread of the week?
Yeah, I was trying to bring my little cat on the show here. She doesn't want to come on, but it's because I want to pick a cat team here.
Oh, the Cincinnati you got props.
Yeah, like you had. I don't have glasses. Maybe next week,
glasses,
if they win, maybe she can come on for a victory lap here. But I like the Cincinnati Bengals -3 against the Vikings. This is a common theme. You'll hear it from me. And sometimes we need to be simple in our handicapping. And I don't want to be reductive, but I want to fade dome teams when they go outside in December. So I'm going to do that again here, fading the Minnesota Vikings. To me, Jake Browning has shown that with this group of weapons, he can be a fine quarterback. And on the other side of the field, I don't have no idea what's going on at quarterback. Nick Mullins. That could be rough here for a team that, is trying to make the playoffs. This is a de facto elimination game as both teams are 7-6. So I feel like we should have a playoff atmosphere playoff intensity for both sides here. I really like the Bengals here. Jake Browning is the second player since 1950 with a completion percentage of 70 or higher and a passing rate of 95 or higher in each of his first 3 starts. That sounds cool, but the first guy was Chad Pennington. But Pennington's still better than Nick Mullins, right?
Right.
And we know what Brian Flores, right? I love Brian Flores. I love these tough guy coaches. I was all in. That's one of the reasons I like the Vikings to start the season. And I remember laughing at 1-4, thinking my over 8 wins was dead. Still looking pretty live here, but we'll see. But we know that Brian Flores likes to blitz. Browning's done well against the blitz. 13 of 21, 61.9%, 201 yards, 9.6 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions against the blitz. He trails only Brock Purdy in EPA per dropback at 0.67 against the blitz. So I think this should be a very good matchup for Cincinnati. And with all these teams, your dog wants to show. Yeah, your dog's showing off, but my cat can't show.
Yeah, your cat can't get there for the props. Riggs wants to come in. I don't know.
Yeah. But the Bengals here, I think it's a great spot. I think that with all these other teams showing flaws in the AFC, the Bengals are still alive. There's no team in the AFC that we view as complete. The closest thing we have is Baltimore, and we're consistently going to have questions with them until they do it in the playoffs, right? Because we've seen what happens with this team before in the past. So the Bengals are live to make the playoffs, make some noise. They need Jake Browning to continue to play well, but he has all the weapons in the system that he needs to be successful. I also think the Vikings are going to have problems outdoors against the Cincinnati defense, who has been pretty good at times and has been very good in the second half after what they're putting out there. So I like the Bengals to get out to a lead. If you were crazy and you took some Chase Brown around pick 202 or wherever he was going, Meg,
I know.
I think he could have another big week, because one of the reasons Browning's doing so well against the blitz is he's just dumping it off to Brown. I mean, I'm sure a lot of those YPAs or screen passes to Chase Brown where he's breaking them for 10 to 20 yards. But I think that we have a lot of opportunities for the Bengals to put up points. I think the Vikings are going to struggle to score. I like the Cincinnati Bengals -3.
Okay, you're on the Bengals. Clyde says, who would have thought we'd be talking about Browning versus Mullins? That is a ha-ha to me, but here we are, week 15. A lot of backup quarterbacks. So before I go to Tyler, I have to circle back to a couple of quick best ball comments. Because again, Fiesta is very best ball heavy and best ball invested. Andrew talks about looking for unique roster combos. That's a great call. Steve, for you, spread. He said,
where can you search that at?
He believes you'll be able to, once the games go on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, once the games go live, you should be on DK. Underdog, you already can see like kind of what you're up against in your competition and if some teams are dead and that kind of stuff. Yeah. There's a site, I'll send you the link. There's a site that you can look at roster combinations. It's for Underdog though. So I can send you that. And then Andrew asked, my dog was just dancing around back there. We're going to need he likes some round robins and some dogs. So maybe after we talk spreads, we can talk underdogs really quick for Andrew. Maybe I could get Riggs back up to do a little spin for the dogs of the week. But now let me go over to you, Tyler. We're not to the dogs of the week yet. What is your favorite spread of the week?
Yeah, I'm going to fade an AFC North team. And we're going to fade a team we faded last week that I caught a lot of slack for. And
you did catch
a chance in that game. And we're going to take the Colts this week.
Tyler,
you're going to sit here and try and tell me that the people are practicing and they're playing and you're scared of them now and they're going to be out by halfway through the first quarter.
I mean, spread we do owe Tyler.
Is that where you're going? You're going to tell me, TJ Watt's practicing when he's practiced the last 3 weeks and he's hurt by the first quarter.
I mean, spread. I gave an official apology to Tyler on Twitter. I think we owe Tyler an official apology on the show here. We gave him a very hard time that he was being a spoiled Steelers fan and going too hard on his team last Thursday, and he was absolutely right, and we were wrong. So my formal apology is here on the show too, Tyler. You were right. I was wrong.
I appreciate that, Meg. We'll eventually get spread to come around to the right side, but he's still scared of Mike Tomlin and a couple injured guys that are coming in on crutches trying to practice. But they're going to go into Indianapolis. They have no corners that can cover Michael Pittman. and you got Josh Downs, who probably breaks across the defense too. These guys can't tackle for the past 3 weeks. You watch James Conner get to the second level on running the ball for the 2 weeks ago. You watched last week, they couldn't stop Zeke. Zeke was like prime Zeke Elliott on Thursday night. What do we think the guy, Zach Moss, that everyone's tried to play in DFS for the past 2 weeks and hasn't done anything, is going to do to the Steelers defense on Saturday night? He's going to run for 2 touchdowns. He's going to get 100 yards, and the Colts are going to win this game rather easily. The Steelers have also done this weird thing the last 3 to 4 years. They start off the season really good, and they just chug along. It's like, oh, this seems like it's going to work. And it's almost like it takes 10 to 12 weeks for everyone else to just watch some film and go, all right, here's the 4 or 5 things they do. If you cut these 2 things off, they just can't do anything. Because we've just, at the end of seasons, just fell off a cliff. And we've lost the last couple ones. I don't see us winning this one, and I think they just keep losing out. So I am against the Steelers again. Give me the Colts. Minshew's going to beat up on Mitch. Mitch ain't going to be able to move the ball. He'll turn it over once or twice, too. They'll probably be chanting Mason Rudolph's name again, even though it's in Indianapolis.
You need Rudolph in December,
Colts, they put a firm grip on that wild card spot with this win.
All right. You heard it here. I like it. I can't disagree with you. I tried to disagree with you last week. Again, I was so wrong, but watching Mitch Trubisky made my eyes
what was going to be your argument? Was it the guys practicing?
TJ Watt. That was the main reason we bet the
TJ Watt is usually my argument.
But when he's practiced the last 2 weeks, and then literally the first quarter, it's well, he's in the tent, and he comes back out.
He did finish the game last week.
He just keeps coming back in and out. He'll play 3 plays, he goes back to the tent. You could tell he's just not. He's not the TJ Watt that decides games.
He usually does decide games. Your guys' record with and without TJ Watt is wild. Okay. Any other, before we get to the talking underdogs real quick, because I liked Andrew's question, any other spreads that you guys are debating on putting on the sheet? I know sometimes you talk that through here. Okay, let's hear
I want to take the Cleveland Browns.
Okay. Tyler
has told me no.
Tyler
is impressed on this player. You might be familiar with him. I think his name is Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's turned the Chicago Bears defense around.
Yeah.
Since he's got there, the Chicago Bears defense has been playing really well. And, of course, Justin Fields is the type of player to defeat even the most solid defense, because you just can't replicate that type of speed in practice unless you're the Baltimore Ravens or the Arizona Cardinals. Regardless, the Browns have been playing well with Joe Flacco. I like the strength of this defense. I know they gave up. There was their worst home showing as a defense last week, and that made that game closer than it should be. But Flacco and Njoku, they've got some nice chemistry. I don't know yet if I do trust the Bears. I want to take the Browns, but we didn't get there. What do you think, Meg?
Okay, I was just agreeing with Tyler. And
can I give my counter? Can I give my counter argument?
Yeah,
why don't you do that?
Steve clearly agrees with Tyler about
my thing. Why I can't get home on this one. In the end, I think Cleveland should win this game. But the game that keeps flashing back in my head was when they played the Colts, and Minshew's just the slight bittest of mobile quarterbacks. He was able to evade some of these sacks, get out, put points on the board, because once you get away from their pass rushers and you can extend the plays, their wide receivers get open down the field against these guys. The Browns lost a safety this week. That was a starter, Grant Delpit. He won't be there. It's not the same exact defense it's been. It's still very, very good. But if anybody can beat this defense, it's probably a guy that can run away from the pass rushers. And Fields is going to be able to get away from these guys. It's just how long can he extend plays and if they become scoring plays. So it's a scary spot for me. I don't like it that much. I could see it being a lot more sweatier than it needs to be.
Wow. So, Clyde's in line with you there, Tyler. He's going Bears money line. Before you made great points. That game was in Indy, right? Not that, home road.
It was.
That game was in Indy. This game is in Cleveland, which really, by the way, we could literally play a drinking game for the times I say basketball. I don't want people to get hammered at 3:30 necessarily, but it's 5:00 somewhere. Do it if you want. But this was it was so weird. And all summer I was analyzing the schedules of weeks 15, 16, 17. And now it's here. And it's well, first of all, it's crazy again how many people are injured, but it's just funny to see these schedules now. And I remember being oh God, the Browns have a lot of very cold weather games, and Browns and Chicago have a lot of cold weather games. This being potentially one of them. I don't know what the weather is calling for right now, but it is in Cleveland. And I am like really impressed with how well Flacco jumped right in with that team. And yes, Montez Sweat is a true difference maker for that defense. Obviously a good trade for them. I think he'll still be a good trade for us with getting such a high pick. But with that said, I don't know. Before you gave your counterpoint, I really was leaning hard on team spread here, team Browns -3. I get what you're nervous about, but I don't know. I just think this Browns team is much better than this Bears team overall. And I think Flacco can still put up a decent performance against this defense. So I'm leaning still to the Browns, but it sounds like you and Clyde are leaning towards the Bears. So it sounds like we don't have any consensus on this one.
I don't think I'd pull the trigger on the Bears as much as I just want to just stay away from the game.
Like,
first of all, how questionable is DJ Moore?
That's a big one too. If he doesn't play, then yeah, pull the trigger because that just
pull the trigger now because obviously the line will move.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like he had the Colts game. They gave up points and it was on the road. But then if you look back to last week, they gave up 27 to Trevor Lawrence with one ankle.
Yeah,
they're giving up points.
He didn't look that hurt at all.
That's crazy.
A couple of those tackles.
Let's go back to that. That was going to be my exact point. You're telling me the Bears and the Jaguars are equal? Because that's what this line says. This is the same line we got last week.
I mean, it's a weird spot. And the other thing, too, is it's like, are we just going to categorize Flacco as like he's back to being like 29 years old? He's just going to give us good performance after good performance. Like, if he walked out there on Sunday and threw for 100 yards and 3 picks, would it surprise anyone?
Against the Bears, I'd be a little surprised. I mean, I know the Bears defense has also, again, been much improved since the beginning of the year, since they got Sweat and everything. I'd be a little surprised about that, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah. It seems like a weird spot to me, looking at the board.
And I just checked.
Just like Fred just said, the Jags and the Bears aren't equal. Why is the line the same? That can't be because it's like, oh, here's an auto click. Here's a free Christmas present. That screams at me something's wrong.
I just checked. DJ Moore looked like was back at practice limited, which means he'll probably play, I would assume. But
will he be in the tent by the end of the first quarter?
Well, good question.
Didn't the Browns lost an offensive tackle this week too for the rest of the season?
Oh,
Willis.
What was his name?
Jedrick Willis.
Oh,
he's good.
Yeah, that's a big one.
He will not be there.
Top. He's in the top half.
Oh yeah, he was the one that used to do the commercials with Baker.
He did
that one commercial where they were like playing
Conklin. So,
geez, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's both your starting tackles for the start of the season now gone.
Yeah, that's not great. Okay, maybe that makes me kind of want to just stay away.
Well, that's why we didn't get there, and I didn't bet it yet either because I thought he made some compelling points.
You did.
I also wasn't too worried about this line moving.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have plenty of time to think about it. I feel like this 3 is pretty stable.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
One we got to talk about, Mike, that I'll bring up. We didn't even really want to make this a play, but I feel like in the end this probably should because just the spot they're in. Bills Dallas. Where do you side in that game?
I think you know where I side in that game. But I'll say it. I side with Dallas. I'm shocked that they're dogs. Because are they still was the line move? No, they're +2, +110. To Andrew's point, we'll maybe get a quick segment in a minute and each give our favorite dog. But that would be my favorite dog of the week. I understand that the defense it can have points where it like against the Seattle, like Steve talked about earlier. Sure, Josh Allen can put up points on this team, but guess what? This Dallas offense can absolutely put up points. I don't care that it's in Buffalo. I absolutely think offense to offense, if we're just looking at that, if you say, Allen and the Bills are going to put up points against them, the offenses look better since the new coordinator. Okay, great, fine. Well, guess what? I think Dallas is going to put up more points than them, period. And I'm definitely on Dallas money line.
You don't think this is a spot where Dallas finally comes out flat after the couple weeks of big games? They get to beat up on Philly. They come in here. They're like, what do we care about this game? We got the division title hung up now, basically.
They don't have it hung up because the Eagles have such a easy schedule. They have such a hard schedule rolling out. Every game is like a playoff game for them if they do want home field.
Yeah, but I think they can lose one more because if they tie the Eagles in the end, they're going to own the tiebreaker. They're going to beat them by the point differential now.
Really?
They walked the Eagles off the field. They beat them by what, 30?
I thought Eagles had the better conference record.
I think I'd have to double check that, but I think
doesn't it go conference record? I thought they did, but
I could be wrong there. But I think Dallas still holds that now. But I think this is a spot where Dallas comes out flat, and Buffalo's still backed into a corner. They can't take losses. You can't get any better than catching the Chiefs in the spot you caught them in last week when the wide receiver was whispering in Von Miller's ear, to now this week where Dallas just got off their quote-unquote regular season Super Bowl. They're at their peak where it's like, all right, Dak's the MVP favorite. They're the second best team in the NFC behind San Fran. They're the third best, highest odds to win the Super Bowl. And now they're going to play a team who can't lose. Like, if they lose, they're done.
They're definitely more backed against the corner. But I mean, to the point for Dallas, though, I think they're having the wild card in the NFC versus having home field in the NFC's winner is a massive, massive difference to your path to the Super Bowl. And I think they know that. And I think they can just kind of keep that momentum rolling. But they have a very, very hard schedule. Do I think they're going to win out? Probably not. I mean, because outside of playing Washington to end the season, these next 3 games, it's what? Bills, somebody in Miami. I can't remember the one in between, but there's 3 very difficult games starting, or 3 more difficult games right now.
Yeah, Detroit.
Yeah. Oh my God. We've been talking about week 17. Yeah. Hello. Okay. Sorry. Hello. So it's Bills, Miami, Detroit. They have 3 tough games before they play Washington week 18. And so, I think this is just, I guess that's my point of just saying, I think it's just as must win for them. Yes, they have a playoff spot essentially locked up, but I think getting that NFC is so massive, and Eagles have a very easy schedule. I mean, Seattle could be tough this week, but other than that, it's Cardinals, Giants twice. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm for the motivations, for any narratives, for just strength on strength, the offense on offense, coach versus coach. I'm taking Dallas in all sides. So where do you think, spread? I mean, Tyler gave his pitch, I gave mine. What do you think?
Meg, usually I'm an adherent to a low carb diet. But today, before the show, I decided to have a baked potato in honor of Tyler's favorite player, Mr. Potato Head, Josh Allen. I have so much energy with all these carbs running through my system. But I agree with Tyler. Now, certain things on this, right? I don't think that the Cowboys say, oh, we don't care about this game. They obviously care about every single game because this is the National Football League and not the National Basketball Association. So we know that each team cares about every single game. But letdown spots are real. You cannot be up for every single game every single week. You're coming off the biggest win of the year. You're all around town. Everyone's anointing you as the MVP, the next Super Bowl champions. This is our year, right? So there's a lot of positive vibes. But sometimes, this is why we like to bet teams coming off a loss. You kind of want a pissed off locker room. You want a team focused on everything they're saying and a bunch of mistakes for the coaches to correct. It's a tough travel spot, too. Buffalo is a tough place to play in December. We talk about how home field advantage has actually gotten less over the years. I mean, my time's handicapping the last 15 years, seriously handicapping the NFL and not just taking the favorites, after winning a bunch of money on poker. I'd say that home court or home field has gone from 3 points to it's 1.5 just average. And for better teams, 2 to 2.5. But in this spot, I think it could really be worth 3 with this team going outdoors. And then finally, the ways to defeat these elite defenses. And Tyler talked a little bit about it in our Browns handicap. This is why a mobile quarterback, a quarterback can get things down on the ground, is so important. Because even if, forgive me his name, Dan Quinn schemes up the perfect defense, right? If Josh Allen just lowers his shoulder and blows through the QB spy or just makes that one-man miss, even a well-designed defense can be beat. The Buffalo Bills are on a roll right now. And I mean, I guess this just goes back to me not necessarily believing in Dallas as a team that can get things
even
done.
After last week, you guys keep doubting them.
In a tight game.
Okay.
In a tight game.
Okay.
They blew. That's Dallas's way to victory, right? A little bit Warriors-esque, right? Steph Curry, when they're up by 6, his shooting percentage is like 60% from 3. He's not the best when they're down by 2, right? I mean, there's certain guys that are better playing with the lead. I believe Dallas is one of those teams. I didn't put this there. We didn't mark this on the sheet yet.
No, I just checked.
We didn't. Not yet.
Yeah.
So we don't love it, but I'm with Tyler. I like the Bills here. I think it's a great spot for them, and I think it's a really tough travel spot for Dallas.
Yeah, and to speak to the weather really quick, because you always need to pay attention to weather this time of year in these cold weather spots, not dome spots, obviously. Dallas or in Buffalo is 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, dry and mild temps by Buffalo standards per Roto-Grinder of weather, Kevin Roth. No major impacts at all. So that's at least good that because some of these games where you want to see, a good game, good offense is impacted by weather this time of year. And so that's good that this won't
It's good for baseball, but
no, but it's good for, as a fan, just to watch.
I don't necessarily know if it's good for Dallas, though. I think they're actually better built to be a cold weather team, right?
Really? The way Dak is slinging
they run the ball better.
The way it's showing me weather for this game, Meg, it's showing likely rain showers, 43 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 mile an hour winds blowing southeast. Chance of precipitation, 70%.
I don't know when this was updated, but this is, I was looking at Kevin Ross' report on Roto-Grinders. It says 10 to 15 an hour winds, but I don't know anything like sustained or anything major like that.
The website I'm on, it says last updated 3:30 p.m. today.
Okay, gotcha.
If it's raining,
something to pay attention to for sure.
Yeah, if it's raining, I am 100% on the Bills. That'll be the game Dak finally makes some mistakes after he's played lights out for the past 4 or 5 weeks.
And I know Dak's statistically much better this year. I still think Josh Allen's a better quarterback. That's why I like him in a close game.
You still
Steve,
think
Steve, get in there. Get in there with the data that you gave me last week. Steve fed me all the data. We didn't do the live show, or we couldn't do the show live. And I read off all the data. He had Dak versus Hurts. Do we need some Dak versus Allen? But no, I'm
statistically Dak is a better quarterback. But I'm just saying, I got to win one game right now. I'd rather have Josh.
Really? Right now, I actually would rather have Dak.
Interesting. Based on what big game success?
I'm going off based on this season. He said, obviously, I'm just going based on this season that he feels like he's playing his best. They were talking about the whatever step drop and him getting out the ball in the West Coast offense and feeling more comfortable and everything's finally clicking and whatever. I'm just saying, I think, yes, points are going to get put up in this game. I'm not doubting Allen to put up points again on this defense. I just think Dallas is going to put up more points and that this offense is clicking. And I don't see Buffalo's defense doesn't scare me to shut them down. We'll see TBD. Let's watch on the weather. So we're
that's the matchup. And like I said, we're arguing with you right now, but we haven't put our money where our mouth is.
It was a thing to talk through.
Now open are the Bengals and the Colts.
Okay. And I apologize. I haven't gotten that up on the betting card. The NFL betting card will be updated after the show with their picks for the week with Thursday night picks. And then Saturday, it will be updated with, any other picks that they land on, anytime touchdowns, props, all that good stuff. So check that out. NFL betting card free on fanspeak.com. Okay. Any other points to talk about on spreads that you're trying to work through or discuss?
I don't know if we're going to bet this game, but I have to know your opinion on the Ravens-Jaguars, Meg.
What's the spread? I'm just looking.
Jaguars +3 at home, Sunday Night Football, and it's probably going to go to 3.5 looking from the way.
Yeah, I'm on DK right now, and it's already at 3.5.
Okay, yeah, I'm at +3, +107, so. That
one's tough. I would probably stay away from this. If you force me to take a side, I would take Baltimore just with I know Lawrence didn't look like he was that injured last week, but with Lawrence still playing on the ankle sprain and without Christian Kirk, I would, the Baltimore defense, definitely gave it up to the Rams last week, but overall, a season-long sample, I've been very impressed by them. So I like Baltimore in this one, but I don't think I would choose to bet money on this.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm opposite sides, but I kind of lean taking 3.5 towards the Jaguars. I think this is a good spot for them. I know they didn't look good against Cleveland. That's a tough defense. Now they'll be back at home. And normally the Ravens is a tough assignment, but it's going to be a little easier than the defense that they faced last week. I still believe that this team is pretty good. And the Ravens have had problems finishing games strong. I lean towards the 3.5, but we didn't get there with the wager.
Okay. Steve talked about the pass rush being a big deal in the Dallas game. If they can get home at all with Allen, that will be something to watch for sure. But to Andrew's point, just a fun little thing before we get to the favorite totals. I've already let you know mine. How about we each, if you had to pick one dog to bet the money line, I know that's not what usually you guys are, spreads and totals and that kind of stuff. But if you had to pick one dog to bet on the money line, who would it be? And to Andrew's question earlier, mine would be the Dallas Cowboys at +110. The spread, I'll go to you next. Who, if you had to take one dog, who would it be?
Gosh.
This is easy spread.
Go ahead,
Tyler. I was going to say, Tyler, and then give me
Jacksonville.
Yours. Okay, you just said it. Yeah. Okay, so you like Jacksonville on Sunday night. Okay, so
here's the ones I'm considering.
+150. Yeah.
Considering the Broncos, but I don't love it. I'm considering the Texans. I'm considering the Seahawks as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the price, if you told me you bet +617 on Arizona, I don't hate that. Kyler Murray's won 2 of his last 3 starts against the Niners. He's that one guy that can completely upset the apple cart there. And if there's a team, we talk about letdown spots. I mean, the Niners have just been riding high. It wouldn't surprise me to see them, lay an egg or things don't go perfectly there. So
I have one more to throw in. What would your take be on Washington? No, just kidding. What would your take be on the Bucks +150 over the Packers? I mean, Packers look like shit on Monday night. Obviously, they're both in playoff contention. Bucks are trying to win the crappy NFC South. They're coming off.
The Buccaneers are very good.
I mean, I don't either. I don't think anybody. I don't think nobody's in the NFC South is very good. But
I think it's a good bounce back spot for the Packers.
You like the bounce back spot for the Packers? Okay. Andrew says the Jets. That would be a big one. I mean, the one thing
I don't think that's that crazy. I don't think Tua is that good without Tyreek out there. And if Tyreek doesn't play, that offense goes from being, electric, elite, record setting to pretty pedestrian.
There were some funny memes and stuff on Monday night about Tua without Tyreek and stuff like that, which speaks to the whole MVP conversation. That is a way, way, way bigger conversation. And oh my God, please let Tyreek Hill play for my best ball shares drink. Okay, so you talked about all the ones you're considering. You like Jacksonville. I like Dallas. Andrew, you like the Jets. There you go. You got some dogs to consider, and my dog's sleeping now, so I can't have him be a prop. All right, now let's talk some totals. Spread, what totals?
I'll start with Tyler. I'll be right back.
Okay. Tyler, let's talk some totals. What is your favorite total that you're eyeing up this week?
Yeah, I don't have a full game total I really like on the board. A team total I like those.
I like the team totals. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Detroit's team total.
Love it. I was just going to say that. Yay.
It's the bounce back spot for them. Mm-hmm. I know Denver's got a pretty good defense, but I think they're going to be able to get points in that game. I think they get close to 30 if they don't clear that 30 marker. In the end, I think they cover the spread too, because I'm not sure Denver's offense can keep up. They've caught a very nice soft spot in the schedule to keep up with these teams and pick up these wins. They haven't played any offenses where it's all right, Russ, they scored 35. We need 38.
Yeah.
They just haven't been in that spot yet. So I could see Detroit bouncing back at home right here and getting back on the board, putting up a nice number and winning this game. So love their team total in the spot.
Okay, I'm totally locked up with you. I think it's a fantastic bounce back spot at home for the Lions, and love the team total. And like you said, the spread. I don't see Russ being able to keep up. And again, best ball, I really need the Lions to just put it up a big game all around. Clyde wants to see a winning futures bet. Tyler, you're holding a couple potential MVPs. I know we're talking totals now, but you're holding a couple potential MVPs that might be a winner with Hurts and I think you're going to be holding a winner with Dak. But you can show Clyde after it's all said and done if you get.
Yeah, I got the Dak ticket. I better not get screwed out of the Tua comeback player of the year at 20-1 for some guy whose only play of the year was getting a 12-man on the field call and losing the game for his team. He better not win that award. So that's Tua's award. I better have that ticket too. So we might have multiple futures cashing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like, I love the
Wait,
Tua.
what award do you think Tua should get?
Comeback player of the year.
I like that. I like that a lot, Tyler. What did you get? What number did you get on him?
20-1.
Yeah, that's not even a real award. I have nothing to say.
Oh Lord. It's a good feeling award.
How do you even quantify that?
I mean, quantify like obviously.
I'm saying like MVP. We go. This person had the best stats. Like comeback player of the year to me is just so random.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say that, but he was on the field multiple times, concussed. You heard all offseason that he almost retired because
a lot of people were saying career.
If he takes one more hit to the head, he's done. He comes back, he's gonna throw for like 5,000 yards. He's gonna have a top 3 seed. They're gonna win the division. I think that kind of defaults the award.
I like it. I'm with you there. I agree with you on this one, Tyler. I like that award. It's a good, like, feel-good award, but also speaks to what you had to do to come back.
And now that he's like slowly fell out of the MVP race, I feel like it should have been one of those things where it's like MVP odds are going this way, comeback player of the year odds are going this way, and they just both went down. It made no sense.
Yeah, no, I 20-1. I really like that. So Clyde, hopefully Tyler's gonna have multiple winners to show you. Okay, spread as far as totals. Tyler likes the Detroit Lions team total. I very much agree. Where are you on totals? What's your favorite total of the week?
I'm going between 2 right now, Meg. I like the under in the Bills game that we talked about earlier. We talked about it being outdoor, playoff atmosphere. Both teams need the win. That usually translates to lower scoring. I like the under there. I also do like the over down in Miami. It's contingent on, is this full?
Looks like there's going to be some rain there. Right now.
Sometimes that helps the offense, though.
Okay, I just wanted to let you know.
Because if I know where I'm going and you don't, and you're trying to cover me,
right?
I know where I'm going. You don't. So sometimes I can't give an advantage to the offense. I do like the over down there. I do think that as good as the Jets defense is, Miami should still be able to score. Okay, let me preface that for saying if Tyreek Hill's in.
Yes.
There's no Tyreek. I don't like the over there. So my official under play will be the under in the Bills game. But the secondary one that I'm looking at is I do believe that Zach Wilson's got a little bit of YOLO in him, and this offense can move the ball down there in Miami. So I also like the over with the Jets Dolphins, under on the Bills Cowboys.
Gotcha. And my only question to the Bills Cowboys, you don't think it could potentially kind of look like the Bills Eagles game when it comes all said and done, just like blow for blow in the second half?
It could. I mean, that's why these numbers are tough. And that's why in a season full of 37s, that one's sitting at 50.5.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, but I mean, I get your point about the playoff atmosphere, and typically those come under, and, obviously the defenses we're talking about. Yeah, no, I totally get it. I just wanted to ask your feedback about that specifically, because I go back and forth on that one. Okay, so that covers.
Meg, what do you think about it over with your Commanders? So that comes down to, do you think the Commanders will be able to move the ball against the Los Angeles Rams defense? Because I think the Rams are going to put up points.
Sure, yeah, the Rams, you don't have to be concerned about that, are definitely going to put up points against our defense and secondary. And that too is a very high line. I was going to suggest that, but it's at 50.5. So like you said, you really need Washington to punch back. They're coming off the bye. Does that help? Brian Robinson's questionable. Really need him to come back. Hopefully he can go. I would hope that over the bye they worked on making sure that your star receiver doesn't goose egg and can get Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson more involved in this offense. So I certainly hope that they can, but would I put money behind it? I don't know if I can trust that, but I do think coming off the bye might help a little there in the hopes that, that they can kind of punch back with the Rams and keep it interesting at least.
Do you think that DeVito stuff is legit, or do you think he turns back into a pumpkin this week? Because if he's legit, that 38.5 is way too low in New Orleans.
I wouldn't say his story kind of, and I don't know, people in chat or you guys can tell me if this is like way off. It gives me so many Taylor Heineke vibes where like, he's just like kind of playing like with nothing to lose, obviously. Obviously everybody loves him, because he's just got that likable personality. All the Italian stuff it's just cool. It's fun. Heineke had that like story, like, they pulled him up from college, from his sister's couch, all these like kind of narratives and stories that people just kind of rally behind. And yeah, you can ride that for a little bit. I don't think it's sustainable long term. Is it sustainable one more week to get?
Yeah, that's the question, though, right? When sometimes we're talking, they're not going to win the playoffs. We're not talking about the playoffs. We're talking about week 14.
Right, exactly.
We're talking about the regular season right now. So.
Exactly. Do I think it's sustainable one more week? Sure. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be against the Packers. I didn't think they'd win that, but they did. So yeah, nothing at this point of the season, nothing would surprise me. And what I will say about the point earlier that Andrew made about the Jets, and you talked about the Jets and Zach Wilson and the total there and everything, these teams that have nothing to lose, Washington being another one, these teams that have nothing to lose and are just kind of playing for contracts and playing for, starting positions next year and stuff like that. They're dangerous in a lot of ways, just like Zach Wilson was last week. So, it's wild, but yeah.
It is. And I think this further illustrates how many of these games come down to one crazy play, one fumble, right? So this is why we see in the NFL teams go from 4-12 to winning their division all the time, because so many of these games come down to one score, one crucial play. And of all the major sports leagues, I believe that the NFL is the closest from the top to the bottom.
Yes.
I think the Carolina Panthers are much closer to the San Francisco 49ers than the Detroit Pistons are to the Denver Nuggets.
I get what you're saying.
And it don't even get me started on baseball. I mean, that's a complete joke. Don't even get me started on the competition in baseball. They should just start a Premier League with like 8 teams.
I get all your points. I totally do.
That's why I think that a lot of times later in the season, everyone goes, the Commanders suck. Well, a couple things go a little different, right? I mean, you just almost beat the Eagles, right? A lot of those games, I'm sure someone who watched, you say, point to a couple different plays.
Yeah.
And you guys are the story of the NFL. So I don't think you should discount the Dogs at this time of the year. I actually
think Giants are a live dog, actually. If DeVito does play like he did last week, I think they could be a live dog. It's not like Saints.
How could they not be? The Giants' vibes are immaculate, and the Saints know that even if they win, their quarterback sucks, and they're stuck with them for another year.
Exactly.
I don't think they bought in with the head coach, who's the worst coach against the spread of any coach that currently been in the league for more than a year.
So there we go, Andrew. We got another dog that you could potentially look at. I think the Giants could be like.
I think Giants +6 is the way to go there. I cannot lay it with the Saints. It's dog or pass.
No, yeah, definitely. But to your point about the total, I think that would be live to go over as well. So I think that makes a ton of sense. But yeah, I do think this point of the year is really, really interesting with these teams and players that have nothing to lose. They're very, very dangerous, and that could push.
Yeah, a lot of people think they're checked out. No, these guys didn't get to be professional athletes.
Yeah,
they compete at everything. They're like cheating at ping pong.
Yeah,
right. These guys love to win.
And again, a lot of these guys are playing for future contracts, future starting roles. They're playing for a lot more than just what's happening this year. So. Yeah, I think that's another good point too. Okay, so we covered the spreads, we covered the totals, we covered some dogs that we liked. Now let's talk a little props. So I know it's early, we say this every week, but some early props that stand out. I'll go to Tyler. Any early props that are really standing out to you?
For some reason, I feel like this is going to be in that Detroit-Denver game.
Mm-hmm.
Jahmyr Gibbs, I feel like he's going to catch one out of the backfield and just run away from them. His receiving yards is set at, where'd that number just go? Reset me to the top. 26.5 on his receiving yards. He could easily catch a pass out of the backfield and run for 27 yards. I think he's good for 3 catches out of the backfield. If this goes the Denver route and Denver starts to win, he's going to be on the field more because he can catch the passes out of the backfield. So you don't lose this bet if he goes into a blowout for Denver. You have more of a pathway there. and he gets the looks in a blowout too. So I think there's a pathway he gets there either way. At 26.5, I'll take a shot on the over there.
Okay. You guys, this supports Tyler's MVP ticket. Doesn't really support your being, well, I guess it could go either way if you just, again, think doesn't support spreads under, but I like Dak Prescott 278.5 since his week 7 bye. He has essentially gone over this every week, but the Panthers game where they just didn't have to do anything, and he just missed it last week because the Eagles didn't do shit. And to your point, you think the Bills are live to win this, and you think the Bills are, going to force him to be passing. If that's the case, Dallas has one of the highest pass rate over expectations in the league since their week 7 bye. And I think he's usually safe to bet an alt 300, quite honestly. So 278.5, give me Dak. Still putting on that MVP performance and just trying to, obviously, the pass rate and keep up with Allen. To your guys' point earlier, I think it's going to go back and forth, and Dak's going to need to throw for over 300 yards if Dallas wants to win this. So I like Dak's 278.5. Any other props that we want to talk about? Again, all props will be updated. We'll have some Thursday night props for tonight. Not many because, and then we will have a full props and anytime touchdowns up on the betting card by Saturday. So now let's talk touchdowns, anytime touchdowns. We've done fairly, last week wasn't as good, but we have done really well, really the second half of the season on the anytime touchdown market. And Spread, I'll go to you first on this one. You can say someone you like, and we can kind of look the odds on DK. But who are you liking for an anytime touchdown this week?
All right. I'm pulling up the odds right now. I'll be using Bet Online to place these bets. And let's go over to a team that we're not too worried about their defense. And I'm sorry, Meg, it's the Washington Commanders. That's
no, this is absolutely accurate.
Matt Stafford, man, talk about an underrated career.
Yeah.
The guy got beat up in Detroit for all those years, gave his best years to a franchise that was absolutely terrible. He was completely written off this year, and he's carrying this carcass of that Rams Super Bowl team, right? And they just filled in with a bunch of third and fourth round picks.
Yeah.
And he's doing a great job here. So I want to go with the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to go with the rookie. All right? It's either going to be Kupp or Puka. Okay. And I decided to go with Puka Nacua to get a touchdown against the Commanders. He's plus 129. And it's time to get news for you, Meg. I see Brian Robinson listed. So at least the sportsbooks offshore are assuming that he's going to play.
Well, I hope those sportsbooks are offshore are correct. So, okay. So So I am writing these down, or else I have to go back and watch this on like quick speed when I'm updating the betting card. So the props, you had Gibbs receptions, Tyler?
Yeah, Gibbs receiving yards over 26.5.
Okay, 26.5. And I, of course, had Dak. I mean, this is just I feel like I'm living in an alternate universe that I'm like campaigning for Dak and the Cowboys so often.
Yeah, you're going to regret it.
It's hilarious. It's actually like just funny. Okay, you've got Puka, anytime touchdown. What was the odds you got Spread on that one?
I got plus 129. You probably have better offshore. You probably get like plus 140. I mean, in the legal books.
Yeah, I was trying to find that one. I don't know do you see that one on DK, Tyler?
Who was it?
Puka, and I don't see the Rams game up.
I don't see that game up yet.
Yeah. Okay. Not all the games are under.
I'll check FanDuel. Well,
that. I was just going to say, Tyler, who are you leaning towards for your favorite anytime touchdown? Man, these odds are for some of these guys are nuked.
Yeah, I don't see anything for the Rams game for the Puka odds. Mine's going to be a little weird this week, Meg.
All right, let me hear it.
I'll get one that's excuse me. We'll give a defense. There's no way Bailey Zappi plays that good again.
Right.
And he's playing Kansas City's defense, a frustrated team. I could easily see him throwing a pick six or Chris Jones or one of them guys getting in there, strip sacking him, running into the end zone. They're like plus 550 to score a touchdown. I love that one. But this Cincinnati team and Jake Browning, they target the hell out of these tight ends. Minnesota doesn't cover tight ends well. But
Because all the linebackers are blitzing.
Yeah, that. And well, here's the hard part about this. Here's the hard part about this bet for Cincinnati. You probably have to bet them all. You have to bet Tanner Hudson. You got to bet Drew Sample. You got to bet Irv Smith, and you got to sprinkle on Mitch Wilcox because they all get targeted by Jake Browning. All 4 of them play. And on the bright side of this, the lowest odds is 5-1 at Tanner Hudson. He's 5-1. Like Sample 750. Irv Smith's 14-1. Mitchell Wilcox is 18-1. One of those tight ends is going to score on Saturday. I cannot tell you which one. There's so many of them. He spreads the ball out. I will bet all 4 of them and pray to God one of them falls in the end zone. Would love it to be Mitchell Cox, but I have a feeling it's going to be Sample.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I like Hudson at 5-1. He's been getting a decent amount of targets. I don't know in the red zone who's getting
the most targets of them, but that's the thing. Like, I don't want to be like Hudson's our guy. And we watch Hudson work it all the way down the field. Yeah. And Sample catches the touchdown. It's like, that's why I was like, you got to bet all of them if you're going to bet any of them, just so you cover yourself everywhere on here.
Okay. So sprinkle Cincy tight ends. For Tyler in the chat, Clyde likes Derrick Henry 2 touchdowns again, another one back-to-back weeks. Andrew likes Rashad White, Debo, Knox,
Zach Moss 2 touchdowns is a good one at like 4-1.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Sometimes the 2 touchdowns. My friends and I were talking about it after betting Monday night and coming just short on a couple things, and we were like, man, if you did. What, Saquon 2 touchdowns, Henry 2 touchdowns, and was Derek 2 touchdowns. Yeah, can you imagine that? I mean, just betting them individually, but then
I've seen screenshots on Twitter. It paid out nicely.
Oh, you did see the couple of people were on that? Yeah, well, yeah, that's always fun. I mean, betting the 2 touchdowns is fun especially for guys that are either heavily targeted in the red zone or heavily used
afterwards, and it's like.
It seems so simple, right?
Yeah, you run it through your head. It's like, well, that was very, very simple. How did I fall on that man?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like your call, Clyde, like your calls, Andrew. I mean, Debo's just been playing out of his mind. So yeah, I like that. I was looking at either Dallas or Detroit. Both, I like to give plus money bangers here. Both, you're not finding too many. Most of them are negative, minus odds. But I'm going to go to Detroit. We get Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I don't know what it is on FanDuel. I usually bet there. Anytime touchdowns usually are better there. So check, price shop it. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is plus 115 on DK. I like that. Again, that speaks to your point total bet, Tyler. I like Detroit to bounce back at home against Denver, put up some points. I like them to get ASB going, and I like him at plus odds at plus 115. So
like that call.
Yeah. You guys stick with my Lions. They're my Lions for these next 3 weeks, and I hope to see that. So okay, so those are our. We had Puka. We had some fun long shots from Tyler. KC defense sprinkling on the Cincy tight ends, and ASB plus 115 for your anytime touchdowns of the week. Now, guys, we have to talk about this Thursday night game. We have no Justin Herbert, no Keenan Allen. Looks like, I don't know while we're on the show, is there official word on Josh Jacobs? It looks like there's going to be no Josh Jacobs, most likely. So a lot of backups, but here we are. And that doesn't mean we can't still make money. But I'll go to you first, Spread. You said you see your Vegas Raiders winning in a big way.
No. I said it's the only game we actually have the potential to win.
Okay, I was gonna say clarify what I said. Clarify, yeah. Please clarify how you.
I don't think we're gonna blow out the Broncos. I don't think we're blowing out the Chiefs, and I can't remember the last team we have on the schedule.
Okay, there's a potential. So that's how you see this game going. I assume that's how you're playing in Showdown. I assume you probably like some. Do you like some Devontae Adams props then? Do you trust AOC? Do you think there's a chance AOC could be benched during this game?
Yes.
That's okay. That's what I'll give out, and I might put this on the
like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, no shit, right? He's staying. I mean, they did the try. We all said, let's see what this kid has. He doesn't have it. Let's go back to good-looking Jimmy G. He did it. Get him off the Subway commercials, get him back on the field there, get Devontae Adams going for us. I hope they do. And one thing I sometimes like to do, Tyler, you and I talk about those uncorrelated SGPs. I love taking like a quarterback's under and a couple of those receivers over. Hit it multiple times this year, and I've come just short multiple times this year. But I like betting AOC's under with like Devontae Adams over, maybe Myers over, or even the tight end Mayer has a low line. You could target, two of those guys. So I'll probably put something like that on the sheet. But Tyler, how do you see this game going tonight?
I see it going very boring. It's going to be ugly. But I think you're going to get points, like, because both defense, like the Raiders defense is like, all right, like they got a couple guys. The Chargers defense is trash outside of Khalil Mack. He already played his little revenge angle and sacked AOC like 8 times in that one game. Could he come and do it again? He could, but there's no Joey Bosa on the other side this time to relieve some of that pressure. I'm probably side with the Raiders winning the game. I think Devontae Adams finds the end zone. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to bet Zamir White with the Jacobs news, but these corners for the Chargers are so bad. Mm-hmm. And what do you think the odds would have been on a same game parlay last year in this same matchup of Eckler and Devontae Adams to score 2 touchdowns each? Like 50 to 1.
That's a great call. Yeah.
25 to 1, like last year's odds when these guys were actually scoring. Mm-hmm. You take the shot tonight with the situation they're in. Mm-hmm. And get 158 to 1 on those two to score 2 touchdowns.
I know. I just put that in. Yeah.
I will gladly sprinkle on that because at any moment, could this game turn into 35 to 40? Yes, it could. Like the Raiders could start putting up points against a bad defense. Easton Stick starts moving the ball. Eckler running, breaks a couple, catches one out of the backfield. It's going to be an ugly game. I'm not going to sit here and pick winners. Just give me Devontae Adams touchdown. That's it for me in this one.
Yeah, Tyler, and I'm putting your special, the 2 touchdown special. We just talked about like if you did that Monday night, it seems so simple. If the teams are going to score touchdowns, those are the 2 most likely guys to do it. So I think it's definitely worth a sprinkle at those odds. I love that. I'm going to put that on the sheet under the Tyler special. I like it. But now let's talk first touchdowns. Tyler, I'll go to you first. Do you want to just call it that Devontae Adams scores the first touchdown?
Yeah, I see 7 to 1 on FanDuel right now. You might be able to get better odds on a different book, but yeah, Devontae Adams, I think he gets in there.
Okay, I like that a lot. Spread, are you going with a Raider yourself, or who do you like for first touchdown? Or are you just lockstep with Tyler?
Nope, give me Michael Mayer, the rookie tight end out of Notre Dame.
I like that.
Even though the corners are pretty bad, it's still a pretty big red zone target here. Yeah. So I think Meyer gets in the end zone first. I got 19 to 1, but you got 20 to 1. And Tyler, I have 7 to 1 on Devontae Adams as well.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm going to go with the boring one. But I was going to go Austin Eckler. I mean, I just think even though obviously, their offense is just neutered without Herbert and Allen, I think they could try to use Eckler a lot in the dump off game. I don't mind Josh Palmer coming back at 16 to 1, but for the sheet, I'm going to go plus 650 Austin Eckler. Just to balance out, because I like your guys' Raiders calls, but I'm going to balance it out. Andrew says give the Easton Stick first TD and both defenses first TV. I mean, the defense.
Go to his comment before because he just made the bold statement of the year on the last line.
Okay, things to live bet tonight. Mayer over receiving yards, Eckler over receiving, Easton pass over receiving, Easton pass anytime touchdown, and Quentin Johnson over 40.
What?
That's what
burn that last ticket.
I do like them all.
The contrarian play of the season.
I think it's just the need for a receiver.
Quentin Johnson's mom won't even make that bet.
He got a better chance of Quentin Johnson running for 40 yards on this field behind me than
Andrew, you have full permission
you
to
can
troll these guys on Twitter.
Over us.
I have not been impressed with Quentin Johnson all season. Did not draft much of him either. But if Johnson goes for over 40 yards, you go ahead and troll these two at Spread Astaire, at TH412 on Twitter. Go get them. But
you're out of that one?
I didn't have the same reaction. I don't think Quentin Johnson's good.
You told me he was an absolutely terrible player. It was the worst draft pick.
Yeah, I didn't like it. No, but I mean, at this point in the season, he is essentially wide receiver 2 on a team where they're going to have to get some yards. No, I did think he was a terrible pick. I did think he's a terrible player. So I do like the call on the Easton Stick. I think I believe he's got a little rushing to his game. So Easton Stick first touchdown, both defenses first touchdown. I think with 2 backup quarterbacks, those are very, 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 very live. He's going with the preseason narrative.
Actually,
folks.
when I read that, I was okay. I understand what they're going with.
Yeah, Stick and QT were preseason pals. Okay, all right. Yeah, and you can get some great odds on all this stuff. So, I mean, listen, the game may not be fun, but the odds on some of these things are quite interesting.
This Raider slander, Meg, unbelievable.
I mean, do you think this is going to be a fun game to watch, Spread?
Yes, because I don't need a touchdown every 7 minutes to satisfy my ADHD needs. I can enjoy. I grew up in the 80s where we had handed the ball off 35 times, 28 dropbacks was like unbelievable. And the final score of every game was 17-13.
I mean, I was a kid in the 80s. I don't want to date myself too much, but my dog's named Riggins, for God's sakes. I've named him after the great John Riggins, the Diesel in Washington. Anyway, so that's our first touchdown. I like some of Andrew's calls. I think they're fun. Feel free to victory lap those if you hit them, Andrew, because I love the Easton Stick and the defense's first touchdown too. So anyways, okay. Do you guys want to build a same game parlay for this one before we get out of here?
Let's do it.
I mean, come on, Spread. This is your team. You got to go first.
Oh, great. All right. Oh, man, they don't have it listed.
What?
I wanted to do my best ball hero, Zamir White, over on his rushing yards, but I don't have one.
Wait, let me see if they have him on FanDuel. I'm on FanDuel right now.
It's funny because they had both players listed for TDs, but they don't have anything up for rushing.
Yeah, they don't have him for rushing. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to go with receiving then. I do like the Meyer. Was that Andrew that put that one in there?
Yeah,
I agree with him. Let's go with that one. Michael Meyer over 23 yards.
I mean, on FanDuel, folks, 19.5. So that's a nice one. So yeah, 19.5.
This is like when Tyler tells me his gas prices.
Yeah, I mean, these prices are crazy, right? So yeah, 19.5 for a mare. I like that a lot. I'm going to be pairing it with the AOC under. I don't know that I'll do it in this bet for us, but depends what Tyler does here. I'm going to see what Tyler does. Tyler, what do you like?
Looking at this, I'm going to have to. I'm stuck between Sticks rushing yards and where's the other one? Just go Josh Palmer over 3.5 receptions.
I like both, actually.
That's the thing. I like them both.
Yeah. Andrew talked about you could ladder that if you want.
Yeah, we'll stick with the Stick rushing yards. I think he runs for a lot.
Okay. And the other way, I think, I mean, I know the debate of doing, I could see AOC being benched. So I was going to do AOC under passing. Set at 195. Just to let you know, right now the odds with these two guys' legs is plus 227 on FanDuel. You throw in the AOC under, it jumps to plus 548. But I'm going to play it simple on this one. I think you're going to have to get the ball to the best weapon that the Chargers have, and that is Austin Eckler. So give me his receiving. Austin Eckler over 30.5 receiving yards. I like that. So you've got Mayer over 19.5 receiving, Easton Stick over 20.5 rushing, and Eckler over 30.5 receiving. I will put that up on the sheet on FanDuel. Oh, you've got good odds on that. Plus 528. So basically 5-1. So I like that. All right. Final thoughts, Spread. Come on. Final thoughts for your game, your Raiders tonight, and final thoughts for the Week 15 card.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game tonight, Meg, to see the Raiders finally have a home field advantage in Las Vegas because the Chargers have no fans to take over our stadium. It's going to be like Oakland all over again, full of Raiders fans. It's going to be great. We have a chance for a blowout. The Chargers will continue to charge. Brandon Staley, better update his resume because after tonight, the coach from Compton's coming home with the win.
Oh, I like it. Do you think Brandon Staley gets fired, or do you think they'll just wait till after the season?
After the season.
Okay.
At this point, I mean, like, what are you?
Yeah, it's only like 3 or 4 more games. So, yeah. All right. Tyler, final thoughts for tonight, week 15.
Yeah, final thoughts for tonight. Don't expect too much offense or high powered. It's going to be an ugly one. And I mean, it's the first week of the Saturday.
There's more to life than offense, guys.
It's the first week of the Saturday.
This game's going to have a good personality.
Sunday, so you get a lot of sporting going on this week. You get the 3 football games on Saturday, ratchet right into Sunday. So it should be a fun weekend.
Yes. Okay. I like that, Tyler. And that he makes a good point. That kind of leads me into a little segue. After this, if you want to jump on in about 10 minutes, I'll be going live with Steve to talk short slate NFL on DraftKings, and we will talk about the Saturday 3-game short slate, and then we'll quickly talk about the early only, afternoon only quick looks. We'll have a Saturday only short slate survey. That is very hard to say. Don't say that fast. So we'll have that up on FanSpeak tomorrow to prep for the Saturday 3-game short slate. It's kind of fun. It's like Thanksgiving all over. 3 different times, Saturday short slate, and then we'll be covering the short slate also again in the show. So check out the show, check out the articles on fanspeak.com. And, I have to end it, guys, for everybody who is in the best ball streets. I know Andrew is, I know Steve is, anybody who I know you guys are. Exactly. It's quarterfinals week here, first week of playoffs. It starts tonight. Good luck. It's like Armageddon and all these players are out, but hopefully our teams are built well enough to push some teams through, get some teams to the semifinals that hopefully will be live to make a push for the finals. So good luck to your best ball teams. Good luck on your betting card. Check out everything on fanspeak.com. For Spread, for Tyler, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.